who has the recipe for success, who's cooking, and who's just cook. Today, we have a very makeshift thing there I'm trying to do. Well, I'm just like...
It is actually pretty good.
Pick it up so people can see. Hold it.
What is it? Rhubarb?
No, definitely.
It's triple berry. Also, when you hold a pie like this is the classic smack a pie in someone's face.
I gotta tell you, you like the Mississippi mud. This is my type of pie.
Really?
Yeah. Now I won't eat on the air because I'm a pro. But
can I tell you something? I could have invented the frisbee. If the frisbee wasn't invented, I could have invented it right here.
Thanks,
I kind of want to throw this.
Wow. Do you think that's what it is? Or do you think because you spent time throwing frisbees, that's why you thought of it? Okay, time for the pie. You guys go ahead and eat. There's only 8 teams left. Pretty soon, it's going to be much less than that. And this is sad. This is the first time during the playoffs, well, that a Warriors playoff run has been effectively ended prematurely due to injury. Yeah. Obviously, in 2019, their championship hopes were destroyed due to injury, but it was, I guess the season went on about as long as it was going to, but down to just 1%, and I'll be honest, it's just because I would have felt badly giving them 0% is the Warriors. Steph's quotes do not sound like a guy who's like, man, just get me to game 6.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Just steal one more. And that is not an indictment or criticism at all. It's a player that knows his body and also knows I've never had this injury, and this is the exact type of injury you can't rush back from because then you will just immediately re-injure it. And without Steph, they have no chance whatsoever. They're at 1%. This is a shocking week. Down to 3%. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. What a fall.
And injuries for them?
Right, but here's the thing. Despite the injuries, if they could have just played competent basketball for one more possession in game 2, I would have felt like, okay, they're probably fine. They're going to get some of those guys back. Donovan just went off for 48. He can explode again. And you would have felt like, man, oh man. All year long, we've been like, can the Cavs get past Boston? Maybe they don't have to because the Knicks are in the position they're in. If they had, given what's happening to Boston, if they had played better for 1 minute, they probably the favorites to come out of the East.
Remember, they were 4-0 against the Knicks, too.
Exactly right. All right, up to 5%. The team that has beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers twice, the Indiana Pacers. The crazy thing about Halliburton is he was not very good in that game until the very end when he was absolutely, obviously sensational.
Reggie Miller-esque.
Right, that 8 points in 13 seconds or whatever it was.
I think that was
6 seconds,
18
whatever.
seconds.
But they're up to 5%. I think that, speaking of Reggie Miller, a Knicks-Pacers conference finals, which right now we're halfway towards, would be a fascinating series. And we got that series in round 2 last year. The Pacers did win in 7. That game 7, the Knicks had been ravaged by injury, but something to watch.
I don't think it'd be a cakewalk for the Knicks.
They'll
be favorites.
Oh, absolutely. I would pick them, but I think that would be a 7-game series. Down to just 7%. The Boston Celtics. Do I think that if this were a best of 21, the Knicks would have any chance? I don't. Do I think the Knicks are better than Boston? Absolutely not. Do I think that actually matters at this point? No. They won the first 2. I didn't think they played very well in game 2. That didn't matter. And if you are just close adjacent late, you are feeling great. And the Celtics are feeling, in my opinion, quite nervous. And I do wonder, even if Boston gets through this round, if sitting at the other side, if Oklahoma City doesn't have a coach who's just like, okay, I have some things that the Knicks have uncovered, and it's not just missed threes.
Missed threes. It is.
Okay, I don't.
I have a plan. Miss it.
Well, look, Thibodeau's switching on all this stuff, particularly with the bigs, has made some difference. I'm sorry.
It is
made some difference.
Again, the Celtics are better. The Celtics, in a logical world, would not be down 2-0. But Wild's total refusal to give the Knicks any credit whatsoever and just being like, it's just the random dumb luck of the missed three, I think is unbecoming.
I feel that in my heart, the deepest part of my aorta.
Really?
It's just random misses.
Okay.
And everyone knows it when they watch the game.
Here's the problem.
Like, you know what? They're really doing a great job. Like,
but hold on. Can I ask something real quick?
It's just luck.
It's luck that the Celtics, that Jason Tatum didn't drive to the basket when Jalen Brunson was on the ground?
No, that was good.
No,
I'm sorry. No, that was a bad. But yes, that was a bad
What
shot.
about the last
But the last play, the last play
Bad
was
decision.
No, that's Mitchell Robinson being really good.
Being good.
And
Well,
Mikal Bridges.
he
being
could have
really
got a good look had he stepped back for the
Or
16.
had a little tighter handle. Oh, all right, up to 8%, the Denver Nuggets. And I understand you're like, didn't they just lose by 100? Yes, but since we last did Title Pie, they got to this round and they stole home court. And so they have a better chance to win this week than they did a week ago. And I also think that the winner of OKC Denver is going to the NBA Finals. I think that either one of those teams will. I think Minnesota's going to end up in the same spot they were last year, which is not a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah.
You're just back-to-back conference finals losses. All right. I can't believe. Oh, I'm sorry. One more before we get to the last two. Up to 10% the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves are, even though I think that Denver would beat them in a series, the Timberwolves are in such strong position to win their series, and I obviously could be wrong about Denver beating Minnesota. I think that if you believe, like I believe, Minnesota is basically already in the conference finals, maybe the slice is too small. The problem for them is, I think Game 5 against the Lakers, Game 1 against the Warriors, Game 2 against the Warriors, they haven't played well offensively in any of those 3 games.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think they will eventually, but I don't think they've played great. This is a shocking turn of events, Brew. A 15% slice. This might be the best day. 1.
Wow.
They were at 1 because we all thought they were drawing dead against Boston. 15% slice for the New York Knickerbockers, who I think are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in 26 years, and then that leaves 51% for the 73 and 15 Oklahoma City Thunder, who at this point look like head and shoulders the best team in the league. That is title pie.
I think OKC slice is way too big.
Wow.
Now, the way things are breaking, I do agree they should be the favorite in the West, right? I mean, I thought the Lakers would have had their number. They're obviously done. Golden State would have been interesting, but with their veteran savvy and Steph and all that, I think they would have been tough for OKC. And I would love for Minnesota to beat OKC, and I think they could, but Minnesota is they're shaky. They're still a little silly and immature, even though OKC is the younger team. And so I think they should have the biggest slice, but I don't think they're 5 times better than Denver or Minnesota, which the math says that on the pie. They're tied at 1-1, don't have home court advantage, don't have the best player in the series, against a team that they've played 6 times. That's not a small sample size this season, and they're 3-3. Yeah. So I think they're gonna have a tough time getting out of this series. Then if they get to Minnesota, because that series is over, they're 2-2 against Minnesota this year. We talked about it. For the gaudy record, 70 or 68 wins.
68 and 14.
They were 14-10 against the 6 other members of the top 7 in the West, and 500 against Denver and Minnesota. So I don't think it should be that big. I'm fine with them being favored, but I think Minnesota will be tough for them, and I still think I like Denver in this series.
Let me add one other thing in Oklahoma City's favor before you go. I think we are seeing, obviously no team can deal with their best player getting hurt. But we are seeing in these other series, in Cleveland, in Boston with Kristaps, where just a important role player goes out,
right,
and it's not debilitating, but it really, really hurts you. I think OKC is the one team that doesn't apply to. Not only have they not gotten hurt, they've been healthy, but I also just think they are deep enough that if they
lost Jalen,
if they lost,
I think that
if they lost Jalen, they would deal with it way better than the Cavs have dealt with without Garland.
Well, the Cavs have lost two guys.
Well, but for game one, it was only Garland, and they lost that. And I think if they lost their version of Kristaps, Chet, let's just call it Chet, just both tall, skinny guys who shoot.
Yeah,
I think they'd be fine.
Well in the
you know what I mean? I think they'd be fine. Go ahead, KW.
I'm not the media ombudsman.
Wow.
But I try my best to listen to critiques of sports media. I want to be better, and the customer's always right. It's like we're Burger King right here,
Okay.
People say, oh, media coverage of the NBA too negative. And I said, am I guilty of that? Perhaps.
Well,
Perhaps
we're talking Lakers.
No, that's not true necessarily, although I don't know if Luka can touch the rim. But we talked about the Celtics, and I was like, the Celtics lost that game, both of the games, because they had two of their worst shooting nights in the last 600 some odd games. But I also wanted to give credit to the Knicks. And I really tried my best to come up. It's like, it's Tibbs, and they never give up, and Mikal Bridges plays every game, and Jalen Brunson's so clutch. And then I look at the numbers, I'm like, actually, Jalen Brunson's not shooting great, and Mikal Bridges is not shooting great. And it reminded me a little bit of, you ever watch marble racing? You ever watch marble racing?
Yeah,
You've seen it, haven't you, on YouTube? If you ever want, no, thank goodness.
Proud to say no.
Yeah.
Basically, they put like 8 marbles, and then they just go down, and you end up feeling
rooting.
really
You're
emotionally
really invested in the blue one. Yeah, he's right, bro. It's weird, but he's right.
And whoever wins, you end up making a story like, I knew it. I knew the striped one had that dog in them. But you're just making it up. Anyone who is saying the reason that the Celtics are down 0-2 for any other reason besides the fact that they're missing threes is being intellectually dishonest.
Wrong.
They're just making up a narrative.
You're totally wrong.
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
It's the number one reason, and everybody knows it.
Oh, yeah, it's the biggest reason.
It's not the defense. Oh, that's Tibbs' defense.
No, it's definitely the biggest reason. It's definitely the biggest reason. But it's not the only reason. That's a difference. Is it the biggest reason? Yes. Is it the only reason? No.
Well, yeah, if the biggest reason my house is on fire because an arsonist lights it on fire, it's like, well, there also was a lighter in the garage.
No, that's the only reason.
Sure.
So you
but there's one main reason.
The wide open
So you think it's just this? It's exclusively this?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
For a team that had never won against the Celtics, good news. You won by a combined 3 points on the worst 2 games of Jason Tatum's career, is it? Worst shooting 2 games of Jason Tatum. Consecutive games.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead.
I got some graphics. I don't know where I'm at. Start talking about the marbles.
Do them.
I don't want to do them anymore.
Do them.
Kind of off narratively. Here we go. Went down 0-2 at home. 5 teams have done it, but they're not getting swept. So take that 13. I'm just throwing that in the garbage. So 5 and 13. They're not getting swept.
Wait, 5.
They're not getting swept. You think they're going to get swept? Yeah, throw it in the garbage. Wide opens threes. Oh, you look at the tracking numbers. Nerd fight. The tracking numbers are actually wrong. I retract the tracking numbers. My gosh.
Well, because they've taken 90. So that means 42. They've taken 42 that aren't wide open. That's fine. Yeah, KW.
Now, the problem here is Celtics are leading 80% of the time, tied about 8%, trailing 12%. This is a tricky one. The problem with this is they end up trailing at the end of the games.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.